What's up, guys? I am back to bring you your recap on time, my God, for Married to Medicine Season 6, Episode 6, and it is titled A Room Without a View. I will say this episode did not have much drama nor excitement, but it was a very emotional episode, from Dr. Contessa going to have her mastectomy to Heavenly going back to her childhood home. This was such an emotional episode, and I think that we are now getting to see a deeper side to the stories of the cast members, other than them just being catty and having drama with each other, my God. So first and foremost, I do want to address where we started, and that was Dr. Eugene and Toya were discussing their various perspectives on choosing sides in reference to Quad versus Dr. G. And then you have Dr. Contessa. Dr. Contessa, you love Scott so much when, as we last saw at the party, Dr. Scott checked your ass, Toya, for coming at his wife incorrectly. But the topic was really about Quad saying she has done all that she could do versus Dr. G saying that he's done all that he could do. And I was surprised because last week, when I believe it was either Cecil or Curtis asking, maybe it was even Dr. Eugene asking Dr. G, you know, have you done your best? Have you done all you can do? And when he said, I've done more than I can do, I was just a tad bit thrown off because there was a lot that we saw on camera. So I could only imagine what we didn't see on camera, even down to the shade and sarcasm and passive aggressiveness that came across from Dr. G towards Quad on camera. And not to say that Quad is innocent, my God, because clearly we all have our ways. But the reality of it is, I am just not sure that Dr. G has done all that he could do, especially when you remember back to the focus group. That came back up in this episode. The marital focus group, it seemed like they were not really Team Quad, but they were focusing on how Dr. G was not acting accordingly and appropriately. And I would think they would have a more realistic perspective on their marriage than we do from watching on TV. So that is why I'm still a tad bit more Team Quad than Dr. G, although I never want to negate a partner not being able to be satisfied and or not getting all they need from their partner, my God. So the question was asked from Toya, what do they do? Because there is Quad versus Dr. G, and y'all know how Toya gets when her girls have been done wrong. She will shade the man all the way down because she did not play last season when it came to Curtis and Dr. Jackie, but it's such a hard place to be in because Dr. Eugene could so easily say, oh, I still want him around because he hasn't done anything to me. But those kinds of comments scare me because when it's just surface issues in a marriage, I get he hasn't done anything to me, so I don't give a damn. He could be around me. But when it comes to things that get very, very deep as it pertains to someone's integrity and or character, if they would do something that would hurt and harm or put their own spouse at danger, what more could they do to you who you're only a friend, my God? So I get how men think and then how others may think and how Dr. Eugene is thinking in reference to he hasn't done anything to me, so why should I push him away? And I'm not saying that he should, but it becomes so difficult when you think about a person's integrity and character. It's like, I would not want a person that's that foul around me, my God. So I don't know. I mean, there are plenty of people who agree with the don't choose sides, don't take sides. He didn't do anything to you or didn't do anything to me, so it's not my business. But me, I am a person of loyalty and integrity, and I'm going to say what is right and I'm going to say what is wrong from my perspective and my opinion. So, and I'm kind of want to be like, kind of want to cut the ties because I don't respect what you did or who you are as a man, my God, especially if you know the details. From perspective of not knowing details, I get being neutral, but when you know the interworkings of a marriage, or you at least have the significant details that are facts, sometimes you do have to choose sides, my God. Next, we saw Quad with Abigail and Mark from their marital focus group. We remember them from last season when Dr. G was just acting a fool and fell out on the floor at the marital focus group session, and they were present, acting so childish, Dr. G that is. The wife, Abigail, pretty much suggested that if this situation is not healthy, they need to have some time apart. And time apart is either going to draw them closer or push them further apart. And either way, that's going to let them know where they really are in their marriage. And Quad did share that with all that's coming out with the side chick or the hoe doing the blogs and sharing the story. As I said in the previous recap, I don't believe that Dr. G has taken full accountability. And Quad said he has not been apologizing nor addressing the new information that's coming out, my God. So I feel like when you've hurt your spouse, one apology is not enough. When new things are surfacing, you have to continuously apologize and make sure that you are coming across genuine and sincere and truly sorry, my God. Especially if you really want to save the marriage. Next, we saw a very interesting scene. I've never heard of a child bringing up the topic of sex, but of course it probably happens. So it was so interesting for them to be on film and on camera, my God. And Lauren brought up the topic of the birds and the bees to Mariah and Dr. Huck. And it was interesting to hear that from Dr. Huck or Dr. Aiden's culture, they really don't talk about sex or the birds and the bees. Really quick, church, I don't even know what the birds and the bees mean. I know what it references, I know it means to talk about sex, but I'm trying to figure out, my God, who's the bird and who's the bee and how does that work? So church, comment down below and educate your bishop on what the birds and the bees really are, what it means, where it came from, and why they say birds and bees. But Dr. Aiden said that his culture never really talks about it because usually all marriages are arranged, and so sex isn't even happening until marriage. So this is a very weird and strange and uncomfortable conversation for him to have with his daughter. But it was beautiful because it's a conversation that parents, especially when there are two people in the household, should have together, my God. Also, the conversation did shift to talking about Heavenly. At this point, I don't think I'm Team Mariah nor Team Heavenly because they are both just petty, my God. They both bring each other up all of the time, even in the moments when it's not necessary, because when Dr. Aiden was saying, you know, Mariah was his only love, the only person he's ever had sex with, his first girlfriend, whatever, just to make it sound cute and playful in front of his daughter, Mariah said, no, he's had people before me, my God. And then she had the nerve to say, she looked like Heavenly, actually. And to put Dr. Aiden on the spot to make him choose was so hilarious because he did not want to publicly seem mean or bash somebody, but he was also on the fence with wanting to do what his wife told him to do and making her feel good and answer her. So it was a funny moment, but it does let you know that Mariah probably thinks that Heavenly is unattractive. And I'm not going to dig in Mariah's ass, but I will say that there are people in Mariah's life and in her close circle, I'll even go as far as to say in her family, who are not that attractive. So she has no place to be calling out Heavenly or insinuating that she's even unattractive, because she needs to check in her own lineage about who really is that attractive in her family before she takes jabs at somebody else, my God. Because you know what? No, because that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to go too far in this recap, my God. Then we saw Dr. Contessa preparing and getting ready for her surgery, her mastectomy. It was so awkward for her to have to, in my opinion, from watching it, for her to have to downplay a surgery to her kids, because although we wish her well and know at this point, because this was filmed months ago or a few months ago, that she is okay, just the thought of downplaying it to your children and then mommy never coming home, possibly because there's always a risk when surgeries happen, that was so awkward and scary to watch, because the kids did seem concerned because of how they came across in their facial expression. Although Dr. Contessa did say, you know, if mom doesn't come home right away, listen to your auntie and so on and so forth. So that was very emotional to watch and heart-wrenching to watch, as well as just dropping off the kids, heading to the doctors. It was great, although Dr. Contessa's father could not be there, and I know he wanted to be there. He was up and ready and awake just to talk to her, encourage her, hear her voice. She said that made her feel a lot better after hearing that her dad was thinking about her, praying for her. We also found out that Dr. Jackie sent her prayers and love in a text and just said that she would talk to her later, as well as Dr. Scott said he was nervous because he knows the good and bad of hospitals because they're both doctors. So they have to, in this situation, let go of control when they would normally be the one in control in the situation, my God. Lastly, the biggest topic of this episode, which of course, the name of this episode is centered around Dr. Heavenly. I thought it was interesting, and I didn't think about this last week, with hearing that Dr. Heavenly's mom didn't say I love you and how bad she had it as a child, and that she had a sister. And it was so interesting that Dr. Heavenly is the younger sister, as she informed us this week. I believe she said her sister is about a year or two older than her, but her sister's name is only Denise, but the mom named Dr. Heavenly, Heavenly. So that's very strange, because it kind of goes along with her story of her mom putting more on her and requiring more of her than her sister, my God. So I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but were you wondering, as I was wondering, about the fact that her sister's name is Denise, and then the baby's name, well, Dr. Heavenly's name is Dr. Heavenly. And Dr. Jackie even said now, being around Dr. Heavenly, seeing where she came from, hearing her story, she sees and understands why she gets into conflict, because she wasn't able to socialize with children. So in her adulthood, making friends and responding appropriately was not something that was learned at a young age, when typically you learn that when you're around other kids. And that resonated with me because I grew up very sheltered and wasn't around many children, nor did I have many friends in the neighborhood. I had friends at school, but not in the neighborhood. So I really didn't understand that people could be malicious, hurtful, or even nice and not want nothing from you. I really just didn't know how to receive, or still don't sometimes know how to receive what a person is saying, because I'm always on guard because of having been so sheltered. Because in certain scenarios, I find myself, like in relationships, being overly accepting and open and quick to give someone the benefit of the doubt. But in other areas, I find myself being standoffish or on guard or ready to attack because of not knowing where those people are coming from. And it's interesting that you could experience, especially in my scenario, both sides of the fence and not just one, from having been so sheltered, my God. Especially hearing that Dr. Heavenly didn't get to walk in the neighborhood, nor did she go that far from her house, and didn't play outside. Like, that was me, my God. So although I don't feel like I'm as abrasive, and some may say I am, as Dr. Heavenly, I totally understand her upbringing and why she is the way she is, my God. Then Dr. Simone even acknowledged and addressed that Dr. Heavenly did not learn conflict resolution on a smaller level from childhood, which now it shows in her adulthood why she can't resolve stuff, let stuff go when it comes to her issues with adults. Then we were able to see Dr. Heavenly's home, the inside of her home, and I could not believe. Now, this is where my upbringing and hers kind of is a tad bit different, because although I grew up sheltered, I grew up very happy and I was exposed to so much, not really other kids and friends, but like cruises and having the best of the best and wearing tuxedos to events and just going to private school and Catholic school and so on and so forth, and having like my own room and it being decked out. But to hear that Dr. Heavenly's room had no windows, my God, the sun does so much for me, especially when I deal with depression and anxiety. I can't imagine being in a room with no rooms. I feel like it's almost like a prison cell. So I can understand how Dr. Heavenly began to have her panic attack and feel lightheaded. I was expecting that to probably happen once she began to share all that she shared, even down to her father having died in the house and in a specific room. And that whole exchange that she shared with her mom, calling her, letting her know, and she wanted to get her schoolwork done and do her final, and her mom, so you don't have to even come. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this same person, my God, who put all this pressure on Dr. Heavenly to be the best and focus on the books, then flips the script. I can't even imagine what Dr. Heavenly felt and went through as a child, because it's just crazy to hear that the mom put pressure on her for her to be this great student, and you taught her to focus on school and her books, and then you call her in the midst and before a final to let her know that her dad has died. I would think a parent would wait maybe until the end of the day or the next day after the finals, because that is just too much to put on a child. But Dr. Heavenly also shared that, well, not a child because she was in college and it was her first year of dental school, but still it was her child, her mom's child, that is. And so it was interesting to hear that Dr. Heavenly never returned to that home or her neighborhood, for that matter, after she came back in town for her father's funeral, and that was that. Then we were able to see some of Heavenly's friends, my God. Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone met some of her high school friends. And the funny thing is, I feel like people may think or assume it's a bit contradictory for Heavenly to say that she didn't have friends or couldn't go outside. But I do know the experience firsthand of not having friends or going outside in your neighborhood, but having tons of people like you, look up to you, talk to you, and socialize with you in school, because I didn't have friends outside of school, but I was popular and had a lot of people who knew me and had friends in school. So that wasn't surprising to see, but her friends did say that she'd always been outspoken, said what she meant, said how she felt, didn't hold back. But one of her friends, the white girl, did say that she could learn to be a tad bit softer in her approach, even though she is saying how she feels. But her friends also said they appreciate who Dr. Heavenly is, my God. But this is where I've said before that we've seen a change, or at least that Dr. Heavenly is trying to work on herself, because she said herself that she would like to come across more considerate of others' feelings, yet she still wants to speak her mind as well as say how she feels. And that's about it, guys. This was a very short recap. I am on time. I am caught up. I'm so happy and excited inside of the church to give God a praise in the comment section. My God, I'm caught all the way up. So now I can actually probably implement some other shows and other things for us to talk about, since I am all the way caught up. But that's about it, guys. Please follow me on all social media outlets. Comment down below in the comment section. Thumbs up this video. Subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, become a part of the notification ministry. I guess that's it. Bye, guys.